Okay, so we are live, and today's is a sunny Sunday, and we have two coaches with us. So I would like to welcome them all and welcome all the audience who are with us, and whoever is going to watch this particular kind of a pod coach or code. I call it as a kind of a pod, but it is of a coaching part. So I would like to welcome everyone. Good evening and welcome to episode number 2 of High Self Battle Room. So now this is where self-awareness is where we stop faking and find and start healing forward. That is what this particular entire series is. Our theme today evening is about power without rage. Now, why this particular topic was there? Because I felt in corporate we do have a lot of power with our position, but how we put it across is what makes our position more effective in our organization. So power without rage is the art of being strong without hardening and calming without collapsing. So that is what the main theme is. And if you are ever felt like you are silent and mistaken for weakness, or you are asserting sense and aggression, tonight is for you. This is what we are trying to do. So we have two coaches with us, a seasoned player. We have Edwin Jewel with us, who is a senior manager with Anubhavam for people development. He would be taking the first section of it. Then we have a second coach. We have Shantha Meena with us. She's into communication and corporate training. So she would be handling the second section, which is talking about how we have to be calmer in our corporate environment. So welcome you both, and we can start with the first section. So with Edwin.
Thank you, Abhijit and Wisdom team for bringing us together for this powerful conversation. We often assume that we need to be very effective in high stake environments, and we suppress our emotions.
Hmm.
And I think we also had few
Right.
sessions earlier wherein we discussed about how a male is getting suppressed with no voice across. So some insights from there,
Right.
and another thing is power with composure
Yes.
is more lasting than power with control.
Hmm. Wow, good. So I think, and definitely we are also progressing towards this month is called as Men's Mental Health Month, International Mental Health. So now we are bringing this particular interview in such a kind of a time that yes, this is going to be an effective discussion. I think we have lost Santa Meena a bit in between. She might be joining us, but we can, start conversation because the first section is of yours. So, Edwin, can you just, throw a certain light on how many professional bottle emotions seems composed? Like you might have been into corporate and you have seen a lot of professionals. And what is the cost of emotion suppression that you have seen into corporate world?
See, when we look at organization system, it's more of like policies, people, and processes. So they make it as a stringent way to approach, like a straightforward approach, like input, process, and output kind of a thing. So feedbacks do
Hmm.
come in when there are loss of output thing, and then especially when organization systems, when like compliance and risk are high, silence is what is equated with maturity. You
Hmm.
say speech is
Right.
silver and silence is golden. That's how we
Right.
are being brought about. And
Hmm.
it can be avoided how you look at it. Like I'll cite example of Tare Zameen Par, the movie where there's a
Hmm.
child who struggles, and his struggles are unseen until a teacher comes in and engages with him emotionally. See, we also need
Hmm.
to have somebody who we can emotionally connect. So it
Right.
wasn't the silence that helped him, but it was empathy. So how can we
Hmm.
as
Hmm.
HR professions or as coach be empathetic
Hmm.
and be assertive and be looking at being aid for everyone? That would be my take on this.
All right. Great, great. So what do you think, right? If you're talking about, suppression of emotions, so what are the outcomes? Are you looking at any kind of behavioral kind of an outburst or any kind of ailment that a person can contract with? Have you seen a certain person who are not expressive, who take hustle culture to the T's and start making a kind of an accommodation of those particular pressure? So that is what I feel like. Like, what is your take on that?
See, when we ask people to be professional, we is it not showing up too much? That's a question we
Mm,
undertake, and we as Indians, we have the habit of overdoing a lot of things. Like when you stay for a longer
mm,
time in an office, people think that we have been more productive and mean loyal. See, it can be
mm,
the
mm.
case where the person has to stay longer because he's not competent to
Right.
get the work done within the 8 hours of time frame. And we also
Mm,
stereotype if somebody's
mm,
completing the task and going early. Why are you going early? अरे आप
mm,
जल्दी क्यों जा रहे हो? So we also stereotype those
mm,
things.
mm.
And
Right.
when repeatedly when you are in a HR role, people's identity, the way how we emotions are put up across, how comfort zone are we making the other person? See, you might have pulse surveys in the organizations, but is there a human
Mm,
touch to that? Are people
mm, mm,
voicing out to that? See, I'll also cite
mm, mm.
one example of one Tamil movie which has released recently. Kudmastan. That's a story of a guy who is married and he busts out at the end because he looks at his life like he's been tolling in and out for the family, but family treats him only for the money. That's the emotion kind of thing outwards he has.
Mm,
So
mm,
when that person leaves family, see, as a
mm,
father or as a bread earning person in the family, see, he's responsible for that. But doesn't he
mm,
has a
mm,
responsibility to undertake, like he's also being satisfied from the other members, the emotional connect. Another
mm,
beautiful movie which I
mm.
saw
Right.
yesterday was Madras Matinee. So
Mm, mm,
we are also looking at like the best way how a parents are being portrayed across.
mm, mm. True. True. Very true. Have I lost you, Edwin? Okay. All right. So the same follow up question, Edwin, to this is like, why system rewards silence over emotional honesty? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'll cite example of like take the movie like Dear Zindagi, emotional expression in a healing
Mm,
and a self growth perspective. See, when
mm, mm,
employees
mm,
are forced to bottle up, we lose their full contribution. I'll give you another example is we tell our kids to think out of the box and everything, but end of the day
mm.
we give them pen and paper and we say draw a circle and color it inside. Are we not
Right.
suppressing their thought process? See, you give a paper and tell
Mm,
do whatever you want. That's different. That's
mm,
like
mm.
empowering them rather than force fitting them into
Right.
the rat race. And
Mm,
innovation
mm,
doesn't emerge in fear or something. It has to grow freely. Uh,
mm,
I, I, I can cite also example of
mm,
like
mm,
the worm
mm,
transforming itself into a butterfly, the caterpillar transformation into a butterfly.
mm,
It takes time,
mm. Right.
and nature respects it.
Mm,
But if we go and do some hanky panky with that transformation journey, its
mm,
life as a butterfly is short lived. So should we do
mm,
that
mm,
in somebody else's life, or should we empower? Are we empowering our own families? Are we empowering
mm,
our own employees? Are we
mm,
empowering everyone in the
mm,
society at large? That's a question to
mm,
stake.
mm.
And I think another example is like
Mm,
another example I
mm.
can give is Surare Potra or our this one. I think Akshay Kumar's movie of our Indigo chief Sarfera. So his emotions were high
Surf.
and
Okay.
low. How we were weakness.
Mm-hmm. Right.
See, he was composed. but he also burst out.
Hmm.
So we need to look at
Hmm.
all the journey, the life journey, how we take about. So it can
Hmm.
also be
Hmm.
correlated to our lifestyle, the food we eat,
Hmm. Hmm.
when we sleep across.
Hmm.
There are a lot of complications
Hmm.
to that. Our biological cycle is disturbed because we don't have a good
Hmm.
lifestyle. So that also stressed out.
Hmm.
You have young
Hmm.
entrepreneurs.
Right.
They're giving out their
Hmm.
great job and everything. They're giving back to the society. They're living a very simple life. Why?
Hmm.
I don't know. We need to ask them how to.
Hmm.
Are they not able to capable of handling those kind of stress, or are they want a normal sedentary
Hmm.
life of a simple living, high thinking? Mahatma Ji's quote.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I think what you have brought out, Edwin, is very close to my heart, and why my journey has started in this particular mental wellness for corporate is somewhere we do, like as you said rightly, that we give a pepper and a circle, and we say color in between the circles. Don't go, on board, or don't get off board of that particular system that is there. But within that particular saying itself, we are actually creating a invisible wall, which is talking about an area where a person can't express himself. The thing is, like, we already changed him to a very big chain, which he is not going to express altogether. That is a lock that you give to your mind itself. But the problem over here is, what we are trying to do is that we are not even considering the role. The responsibility is totally given on the employee, wherein it has to be an employer responsibility as well. So if we are providing a playground, we are supposed to be, as an employer, we have to safeguard that playground. We can't say that, okay, you can play whatever you want, but we are going to make it uncertain, or maybe untamed, in terms of what would be the replication of being expressive. Because that has been already been into our professional, that we always are told, let's stay calm, stay composed. Okay, when we say stay calm, stay composed, it is not like, so what, we don't have a switch. We can't have a switch. We evolve, as you said, like a caterpillar get evolved into butterfly. That is a kind of a kind of a self compassion patient process that has to be there. So we face that kind of a lot much of a kind of a policy that has been made, that we would do a certain yoga day, we will do certain mental wellness week, we will do certain mental wellness month. But when we look at that mental wellness, it is a day in and day out activity that we have to do, not one time activity. And a lot of management only think in that particular, and then also we expect an ROI out of it, and where it has to be a goodwill that we have to expect, not an ROI. Okay, so that is also, so there are a lot of many things that you said, that yes, we have to sit across, and we have to reinvent what do we mean by how pressures are built, how microaggression are cultured. Okay, how emotion suppression kills innovation and trust. All those questions that we have to put into, we have to actually, we have put processes over people, not people over processes. So that is also making a lot of havoc. So when system prioritize structure over psychological safety of people, there is a disconnect. Okay, we say that emotional safety is equal to, if you're giving emotional safety, it is going to be a better compliances rather than a chaos. Because we feel like, okay, emotionally, if I give anybody to paint the picture, there would be a lot of chaos. But I think the expression would fall into a part of a chaotic, because we are not what I can say, cultured to view that emotion outburst in a natural way. We still, whenever we see somebody crying, we always say, "Arey, don't cry, wipe your tears." But we don't facilitate the entire crying. All right. So I think that is where we have to talk, that even emotional expression has to be expressed. That is what the emotion is there for, not to suppress, not to cut down, because that is what makes you human. Okay, so I think you have brought in a lot of elements that are there, and one of the things that you can suggest us, that if you have gone through such kind of emotional suppression, what was a healthy way out of putting that expression out, not a diversion, not getting intoxicated, not getting distracted, but any kind of healthy technique that you have learned or picked up in your career, which you can suggest to our listeners, that they can also practice when emotional suppression is something, or they are bottling up, they are like a pressure cooker, it's like a volcano. What kind of suggestion that you can have as a coach?
See, first thing is addressing it that you have that issue. Self
Hmm.
retrospect
Hmm.
to understand we have a problem, and
Hmm.
then that solves the first
Right.
case understanding thing. We have a problem we need to address. So that's one way to look at it. So
Right.
understand the problem and look at
Hmm.
experts. See, we come from a generation where we if we go and say that we have taken somebody for a psychiatrist or for a psychology, he's not pagal, was he's just
Hmm.
going for visiting it across to understand he has a problem that can be treated. We have come far off from
Hmm.
that journey now, and now wellness has also become a part of employee engagement. See, more than engagement, I'll say it should become a lifestyle. See, we say work
Hmm.
life balance. Gone are those days of work life balance. It's always about work life integration. So this should also be very much part of our life. So I'll take it like we need to build in emotionally intelligent leaderships so that they bring in this change across.
Hmm.
So I take it like truth, pause, and frame. So T for take a
Great.
breath,
Hmm.
not just
Hmm.
calm down, but come back to your own self.
Hmm.
Close your eyes and look into your journey. See, when you are gone,
Hmm.
I can cite example like when you go to a beach. After some time, the water
Hmm.
washes away your paths, right? See, where we were, where we went is our journey, and that journey is
Hmm.
success or not is not defined by somebody else framework. It's you
Hmm.
define yourself for
Right.
yours. See, it's a delta between Indwin and Indwin 2.0. We need not compare our lives with
Hmm.
somebody because
Hmm.
that's his journey. He is meant
Hmm.
for it. When we stick to our own
Hmm.
journey, we are safe. You improvise yourself.
True.
So take a breath, not just calm
Hmm.
down, but look back at your own self. How great you are, how adamant or how adaptive, how resilient you are there as a child. What has changed you across? Can you revisit your own childhood, your youth,
Hmm.
your first job, the second job, the third job? It's a journey. You have evolved and you have become somebody.
True.
So was the journey great? It's a great
Hmm.
journey. Nobody else can go into Indwin shoes or Miss Meena shoes or Mr. Abhijit shoes. The journey is their own, and we are the one who has to lift it across. The next is pause. So pause
True.
for your reaction is: are you rooted in understanding what is truth, or are you understanding in what is defense? We always have a counter. Like when somebody gives us some suggestion or something, we are like इसको कैसे counter दे सकें. So stop that
Hmm.
react. Be proactive. Listen to what the person is saying. See, if you don't like it, don't take it. I believe in the Buddha principle. If somebody gifts you, if you don't take it, the gift is with that own person.
Hmm.
Listen to what all people talk to you because they come with some experience. So we need to
Hmm.
respect that.
Hmm.
But that experience is useful for us or not, that person can only suggest us. We need to take
Hmm.
a right call. Is it acceptable for our journey of life? And next thing is frame, f.
True.
So
True.
what I look at it is like frame your response. So use confidence,
Hmm. Hmm.
empathy, honesty to that, saying like I need to say this because it affects how I show up. So you had a fight. If we have a fight
True.
with somebody in our home, it should not go over with some of our juniors or the staff who doesn't have a reporting to us or somebody at somewhere. It will burst out. I'll 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 connect it like think of it like a Rajnikant's character in Kabali. Never loud, always
Hmm.
aware. Then power lies it not in shouting, but in the perfect timing, in
Hmm.
pausing and choosing the right words.
True. Very true. That was a kind of an insightful. Thank you, Edwin, so much for that particular section.
Thank you.
If I talk about that particular part, okay, I know understanding. We say that once you are able to name an emotion, you can tame it. So whatever you can name it, you can tame it. That is already there. And secondly, I've been talking about that if we are not aware of our emotions or the spectrum of emotions, we will never be able to understand what kind of progression that we are going to. Okay, because what we do is we create a kind of a loop in our personality. We have a certain emotion, certain response, and then becomes a loop. As you said rightly, that if I want to go from Edwin 1.0 to Edwin 2.0, I have to chalk down that journey by setting that what is my travel, what is my propagation path or trajectory that has been happened, because the trajectory has to go from point A to point B, and we have a loop. It goes in circle. We don't have any travel. We don't have a trajectory. So this is where you talked in a very psychological manner that yes, what we have to do, we have to actually take a pause. We have to name that emotion. We have to talk with that emotion. We have to see in which is the helpful part in that emotion, rather than just talking about, okay, this is like what I'm feeling angry, I will just have an outburst. But if I'm feeling angry, why I'm feeling angry, what is the story behind that being angry? Am I having certain kind of thought that is overlooping, that I am not sufficient, I am not capable enough, or is there a kind of any other emotion that is undercurrent, which is actually putting that emotions as a part of a pedestal? And this is where I think the literacy of emotion comes in play. We are not literate about our own emotions. We make sure that our emotions are something that comes and go. We have to just suppress them, or either we have to express them, or we have to implode, or we have to explode. That what is the only path that we have. But we can we transform it? As you rightly
See
said,
what
can we transform that particular energy? Hmm.
that need to be brought in. Like when we were kids, we were taught about moral
Hmm.
science. Along with that, we need to
Right.
also be taught
Hmm.
emotional intelligence, because see, we come
Right.
from a
Hmm.
era of movies where it is told "mard ko dard nahi hota."
Hmm.
So we come from that thing, and then men are taken like macho man syndrome. So we bring in like
Syndromes. Right.
have, we don't have any
Hmm.
emotions, we don't have anything. And then if you are
Hmm.
the first child, or you're the first child,
Hmm.
you're given with the responsibility saying, "Boss, you need to take care of your family." After your
Hmm.
father,
Hmm.
you are the next person to take over. So that responsibility also
Right.
comes as a morally thing. And we we don't live our youth, or we don't live our childhood. We come into that psychology of thinking like, what
Hmm.
next? What can we do for our family? What best can be done? Where we can go across?
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
then when you become part of your own family,
Hmm.
have we lived our life on our own terms, or have we living it for somebody else? See, lot of
True.
cases of
True.
separation and everything comes in because
Hmm.
there's no emotional
Hmm.
connect. The earlier days,
Hmm.
acha hai, bura hai, everybody used to stay, and then it's like a covenant. Now it's like a
Right.
transaction. It's a mere transaction.
Hmm.
And India didn't
Hmm.
those transactions. Was we have a cultural history, emotional bond.
Hmm.
Are we looking
Hmm.
at diversifying it for the sake of it? Now we have like different terminologies to that, like diversity, equity,
Hmm.
inclusion, all those things. That is for a foreign country where you have to embrace change and
Hmm.
accept people who are coming from other states and other countries.
Hmm.
We have
True.
diversification of our cultures from every spectrum of our country, India across, be it
Hmm.
caste, creed, religion, or anything. We have not stopped across talking to anyone. We are not brought
Hmm.
about it. We don't respond to somebody or something, but we are emotionally being put up into a box where we don't get an outburst of emotion. So how do we address it becomes a challenge for a lot of the males and a lot of people. How to look at a family, how
Hmm.
to respond.
True.
See,
Hmm.
in Christianity, before the marriage, there is a counseling. There's a counseling course which we
Yeah.
need to undertake. Then only the marriage will happen, because they give a letter and saying this guy has gone undertaken some kind of education, and then that is there. So that brings in some kind of discipline to it.
True.
Education is the key. So how do we educate becomes a challenge now, because half of us are grown adults.
Hmm. True. Yeah, I think I really liked the concept of having a pre-marriage counseling before getting married and getting a certificate about it. Okay, from a legitimate source, because currently in Maharashtra there was one case which was a very affluent family, and because of a constant torture and abuse from the father, the mother was if you're mentally sound, definitely you can do it.
I think we lost Mr. Abhijit.
Yeah, Abhijit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So I think,
Yes,
ma'am,
I
you can
was.
share
Yeah.
your insights, because I was
I
just
am back.
talking about films and
I am back.
Yeah, yeah. Lot
Okay.
of insights, and it was about the
Okay,
emotional
I just
composure.
lost in
Yeah,
between.
yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah.
no, no,
So we are back.
perfectly fine. I was just asking
Am I
Shantipriya
audible to
ma'am
you
to give.
guys?
Perfect. Yes, Abhijit, we can hear you loud and clear.
All right. Okay. Am I audible and visible to you guys?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Great, great, great. I think I have some glitch. All right. Okay, I think we did covered whatever was for the first section. I would like to go to the second section, which is to Shantamina, and I would like to know about what is your understanding when it comes to emotional suppression, and when it comes to emotional when we say that yes, emotions are part of your communication. Okay,
Yeah,
so when we say that calm assertiveness and communication strength, these are two most effective way of putting yourself into that particular calmer aura. So why professionals confuse silence with politeness? Why that kind of a confusion is there? That is the first question I have to answer from you.
yeah, yeah. So first of all, thank you so much for this opportunity, Abhijit, and I really loved the talk of how he unpacked, taking examples from many of the Indian cinemas, which easily connect with the audience. Because emotional composure is one thing which happens
Right.
internally. So, and I also love the idea how you took both the concepts and then brought it here, because that is what happens internal, and this communication, calm assertiveness and the communication strength, it happens outside. So how we express, set the boundaries, or address a difficult
Mm.
situation. So both, it makes a very superpower, if I have to say. And many times, as we see, and your question is like why professionals always confuse silence with politeness. It might be slightly hard in knowing that we have been raised like that in our culture. In childhood, we often
Mm.
hear phrases like, don't talk to your uncle like that, don't tell to your teacher like that. Have you come across such situations, Abhijit?
Yeah, most of the time, I think. That is so ingrained in our
And
culture.
yeah, and also even with food. So we are not supposed to say what we like or what we dislike when we go and eat in an aunt's house or uncle's house. Okay, so it is like we have been, it has been embedded in us. Like staying silent means it
Mm.
is politeness. So when we ask question,
Mm.
it becomes like we are aggressive. So it has been brought to us like that,
Mm.
and we always follow that. So even in the professional culture it becomes like that. So when they are in the higher hierarchy, what we do is we don't go against them. So they also say don't rock the boat,
Mm. Mm.
uh, let everything go smooth.
Mm.
So when there is some situation
Mm.
and it has
Mm.
to be attended to, what happens is when people tell like this, the person who is there with a question, he doesn't want to be the person who is doing that, and he stays calm in that
Right.
situation
True.
thinking that it is polite. So I
Mm.
just read this book about this dysfunctions in a team. So in that, the first point he talks about is the trust. And whenever there is a
Mm.
conflict and you don't address the conflict, then the trust in the team is lost. So what happens here? The person who tried to ask a question,
Mm.
um, he thinks that okay, I am going to accept whatever they do, but the commitment is not there from his side. He just thinks
Mm.
okay, I am just going to go with the flow. And but
Mm.
here they lose a perspective from a person who can give a better show there. And whenever there is a mistake or
Mm.
something, it's like okay, I thought so, but I didn't voice out. There has been many
Mm.
situations, like even in our personal life or professional life,
Mm.
where we
Mm.
think we have to address or we
Mm.
have to talk, but stay silent. And one thing is this
Mm.
aggression, and
Mm.
one thing is self doubt.
Mm.
uh, what if I am wrong? Okay, I give a solution,
Mm.
or
Mm.
I come up with some question,
Right.
and they think
Mm.
that I don't know it.
Mm.
So that is also one point where
Mm.
we think, okay, let me stay
Mm.
silent. Okay, there are many people who's going to think for me. Let me stay silent. But
Mm.
what will happen is all these things keep bottled up,
Mm.
and it
Mm.
might come in a different way than we think. So,
Mm.
like going with the Indwin flow, I also wanted to quote from a movie. So, have you all seen this Onion movie where that
Mm.
Ambi he's
See,
trying to
I'll give in
Onion.
Hindi. It was really dubbed and released as
huh?
Aparijit.
Yeah, Aparajit.
Aparijit
Okay, okay. I
in
am
Hindi.
like
There are
Opposite.
friends for Hindi.
Opposite. Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Shankar is making that
so
movie
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Hindi with
Right.
yeah, so he just bottles up everything. Okay, he's not able to express his views.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
always he's like
Mm.
don't answer, don't do
Mm.
this.
Mm.
So he wants to be a very calm person, not an assertive person. He's a very calm and a passive person, and all the
Mm.
emotions get bottled
Mm.
up, and he turns to the
Mm.
other end. So this is how what happens is with this uh, staying silent. So
Mm.
many times we confuse that with politeness, but I think that is not politeness. So we may be expecting a bomb in the later stage,
Staying
or
polite, so like silent, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
staying, or
Mm.
we may face troubles that could have been
Mm.
avoided earlier, and which we are postponing.
Right. Right. Mm.
So if there is some change in the
Mm.
situation, if people think that
Great.
this
So,
can be
Shantamina, one
changed.
of the, I think listener. Mm.
Yeah. Lord Sri Rama, like he was polite as well as silent, and yeah, we will be getting through to it also in the later part of our
Okay.
conversation.
Am
So
I
I have
audible
a
now?
point for that.
All right.
Yeah.
So I want to take a quick question, Shantamina, just related to our topic that was discussion. One of our listener has typed in, yeah, Lord Sri Ram was polite. Hmm.
Okay. Oh, large.
Do
Okay.
you want to answer this?
But like he was polite and silent. I'm not telling that we should not be polite. I'm saying that whatever point
Hmm.
we have to be direct, and
Hmm.
we have to tell it in
Hmm.
a way
True.
that whatever is safe for us, and follow that.
Hmm.
So even Lord Sri Ram, he wanted to
Right.
abide by the rules of his father, but that doesn't mean that he was working along with evil. So whenever there was a situation, he fought for Sita.
Hmm.
So it is not like even at that time of the war, he did not stay polite. So
Hmm.
when the time has come,
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
has rose to the
True.
occasion. I hope,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
So this leads to the
Yeah, true. I think Shantamina has put it very across in a direct manner that yes, there are a lot of values that has been taught us. Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of values that have been taught into a lot of scriptures, a lot of spiritual books that we are referring to. Uh, the values are there, but I think the practice and
yeah.
the conviction behind this practice is something that we are missing out today. As you
No,
rightly said, that the fear
sometimes what
of
happens is,
discarding, ostracizing us, not being part of the group by not being polite or talking about what my position is or feelings is. Hmm.
no, we cannot see one spectrum alone. We have to, whenever we take an epic or
So,
moral stories,
hmm.
what we have to
Right.
see is the entire picture.
Hmm. Hmm. True.
Is that what I?
Right. So yeah, yeah, that was pretty much into that. So when we talk about like understanding the spectrum, we had that particular understanding that we are talking about spectrum. So what do you think? What is the passive to aggressive kind of a communication that you have come across in your coaching or in your addressing this kind of communication skills that are there?
Yeah. So first of all, to understand, there are three spectrums. That is your passive, assertive, and aggressive. So passive
Hmm.
is I don't matter, only you matter. That is whoever is opposite. And assertive, aggressive is only I matter, only I think about myself. And assertive is we both matter, which means a win-win situation
Hmm.
is what is an assertive communication. Like to tell of different thing, I'll take my own example.
Right.
So during my college days, even when we were doing this viva for the project, so I think I was a bit aggressive. Like when we were discussing now during my like silver jubilee thing, then we were discussing about that. So the thing is, I was trying to seek more attention to get more marks, and so I wanted to present everything on my own. I did not give them the chance. I regret that part now. But later, I have changed myself. But now, what happened was I went to the over passive side. So, where I have also faced difficulties even in that. So, I know now where to stand. So, the passive type is saying yes or being reluctant to say no. They can't say
Hmm.
no
Hmm.
easily because
Hmm.
they don't have boundaries. They try to say yes to everything, and you can
Hmm.
easily convince those passive people. I'm not saying it is wrong.
True.
What I'm saying is it is how you have projecting yourself. And in between these two is the assertiveness, which it is kind of bit of directness also, but the way you focus and way you deliver it, that is the assertiveness.
mm,
So assertiveness is not aggressive. Many times it has been misunderstood that assertiveness is
mm.
aggressive, but that is not
True.
aggressive. They are trying to tell what they can afford or what they can do on their point of view.
Mm,
So talking out or talking their ideas directly doesn't mean that it is assertive. So this aggressive people also, we can easily bring them to the assertive side. Where in coaching I
mm.
find it difficult is bringing the passive people to the assertive side. Why?
Right.
Because
Mm,
as soon as they say no or they say okay, they try to kind of enter into the conversation, they fall into a guilt mode, thinking that
mm, mm,
okay, I have done something, I have hurt them, I have hurt their feeling, I should have said yes. So they fall into the
mm,
guilt mode, which is very difficult. So they also
mm,
should know. And what happens is, as soon as they change, so and change, as you know, is not immediate. It takes time
mm.
within
True.
ourselves and also
Mm,
people around us. Change is not one thing that is only within us. It is
mm.
also the people around us should accept the change. So for
True.
today,
Mm,
today I am deciding that okay, I'm going to become assertive. I'm a passive person. Today I'm deciding I have to become assertive. Tomorrow morning I go
mm,
and say no, I can't. Sorry, I'll not be able to do this. Will people accept me?
mm,
No.
mm,
It'll
mm,
take some time for them also, and each and every
mm.
time you have to keep repeating it. Consistency.
True.
Each and
Mm-hmm.
every time you do that, only
True.
then
Very
they
true. I
will
think
be able to.
mm, that mm,
Yes. You were about to say something.
right, right. I think it was so well put, Shantamina. I think assertiveness is something very much. Yeah, assertiveness was something that we have already been so misconceptualized into real world that people also are afraid to be assertive because they really don't know that okay, this is what it means, because unless and until you're not defining, and assertive comes with the boundaries. It comes with boundaries and healthy boundaries. I'm not saying that you are directly abruptly saying that no, 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 you can't talk to me in that way, but if we have a kind of a mechanism where we put our vocabulary. Okay, that is the next thing that I was talking and coming to, was like, what is a safe vocabulary for difficult conversation that you like to suggest to us? Like, what kind of
Yes,
words
yes.
that we can avoid? uh, one word that I have is like, never start with "you have done that particular issue," or "you
Exactly.
are wrong."
Yeah.
I can say that I might have understood it wrong. Can you just please explain it to me again? So now
Superb.
this is where the ego is pampered, and in a lot of communication we tend to put those kind of words which are really hurtful. So with
Yeah.
your experience, can you just give us what are the safe vocabulary for a difficult conversation that you have come across?
Yes, yes, sure. And one thing I want to add is many times people think that it is personal. Whenever we are going to object to any ideas or any conversation, they take it too
Hmm.
personal. So we have to be
Hmm.
safe on that. As you told, it is not to directly tell them they are wrong. It is only our point that we wish
Hmm.
to stabilize there. So people think that
Hmm.
using of the kind words like please and thank you or something, it is going to be an assertive one. It is not so.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it is uh, like telling our point with a valid one and not making it personal also. So we are not trying to
Hmm.
making it personal. So for example, some people don't let you talk. For example, they were interrupting when I was working in HR. So there's a colleague of mine who will like whenever she is free, she'll come and then she'll chit chat with me. but I can't say no to her. So what will happen is I will be having the pile of work late in the evening. So at that time, so
mm,
what I can say is, so it is difficult for me to finish my work. Once I finish my work, I'll give you a call, so then we can meet up for a tea.
mm,
So this is the assertive way, not
right.
like you're not letting me finish my work.
Mm,
And here the
mm,
tone
mm,
and the body language also plays a very important role. So how we
true.
say,
Very true.
yeah, more than the
Mm,
words, it is how we say. Even this, if I say,
yes, true.
I'll meet you for tea, it doesn't sit well. Okay,
Mm,
so I have to say, hey,
mm,
it just keeps piling up. Let me finish my work and let's have a
mm,
tea together where I can enjoy.
mm,
Otherwise, in the back of my mind,
mm,
all these works are only running. Then it becomes easy
mm,
for them to understand what the real problem is. Instead of
true.
saying you are
True.
wrong, as you told, I see it
Mm,
differently.
mm,
Can I share my perspective?
mm,
May I share my perspective?
true.
Um,
Mm,
so, like, if they are talking and if you're not given a chance, also, you can say, um, after, have you completed? Could I share my perspective now? So, it'll give you
mm,
a voice.
mm,
The
mm,
first thing, but the one thing is
mm,
you have to first initiate yourself. That is also one difficult thing that everyone faces, because when you are cut off,
true.
what happens is you don't have the feel to open up your mouth. So whenever even people are trying to cut you out, what you can do is you can
Mm,
still ask the point. Make sure that you are going to be heard today.
very true. Great, great. That was a really good summing up of most of the thing that we are trying to, encapsulate into what kind of vocabulary we can put into. And the important part that you have said, that yes, it is a kind of a mutual kind of an environment that is created. It is not only that uh, sometimes as a human being we can't be assertive all the time. We can't be accommodating all the time. We can have that rough edge, that would be there. And it's a very a team spirited kind of a gesture that a person can do. Is like once a person is into office, we really never know that what he has had back in
Undergone,
his
yes.
mind, or what has he has undergoing.
Very
So that kind of compassion has to come into our play. And that is always there into customer care, that every call, every customer is a different customer, and you have to start with a new perspective altogether. You have to start with a smile, and then you have to go into it. So that has been a completely important part. And it's a mutual thing. It's so true. And it's a mutual thing. It's so true.
yeah.
Coming up to the last part of your section, Shantanina, is how game-based learning boosts assertiveness in teams. Have seen those particular part?
So games, like my mentor as Ashraf Ali says, whenever we play a game, we become a kid. So where it is easy for us to grasp things, and we don't take things in the wrong way. And like I want to share my
Right.
things,
Mm,
which is a bit funny also. So 2 years before, I wanted to learn
mm,
driving.
mm,
So the first thing I did was I was seeing YouTube videos of car
mm.
driving. So my husband was making fun of me. With YouTube and all, you cannot go and drive a car. But the
True.
thing is, it was able to help me, like how to see the center of the road or the parallel parking where you should see. So they said you can draw a line here. And so those tips and tricks surely help me. But I'm not going to say that whatever I have seen in
Mm,
YouTube video, I cannot go and implement it in my driving skills. So similarly only,
mm,
um,
mm.
communication, you can read a lot of books, you can see a lot of YouTube videos, TED Talks, anything. But only when you practice it in real life, you will try to achieve. And it also
True.
takes a lot of practice.
Mm,
And that practice needs consistency also. One day you
Hmm.
do, the next day you again shift back to
Hmm.
your previous thing and come back.
Hmm.
Back and forth will not work, but the consistency also is needed.
True.
So how game based, in the sense we have role playing. So role playing
Hmm.
is a safe, controlled environment.
Hmm.
So where you will be given an difficult client situations, or say it right challenge. So when the team, as a team, when they practice these activities together, people who
Hmm.
usually stay quiet also they find their voice, and the people who play along with them, they also try to ask their opinions or situations. Then
Hmm.
they also feel a part of the team there. So we make sure that it is a controlled environment, and we make sure that no one is left out. So it becomes like a safe environment
True.
where they be able to voice out. So once they
Hmm.
find like that, then they will get the courage to speak up. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I say that so it improves, and it improves an open and an honest communication in teams. So game based learning is
Hmm.
one which can help you with that. And I'll tell that this assertiveness is like a muscle. You will not get it in one day.
Hmm.
So
True.
so communication games are like gym. So every day you keep,
Hmm.
or many times you practice, then you can flex your muscle. Uh, so uh, the
True.
game based
True.
environment has helped us a lot.
Hmm.
And many times when they try to communicate, I also
Hmm.
encourage them to have a Friday night Zoom session, so where they can talk about general things.
Hmm.
So it'll kind of, they'll feel like a family like
Hmm.
environment, where it'll be easy for them to take up
Hmm.
any issues or anything like that easily with others.
True. No, I think this has really brought up one of the point. And when I was doing leadership training, and there was one activity most of us might be knowing as a trainer, that is called as marshmallow tower, marshmallow game, in which we have to create a marshmallow tower, wherein we have to put spaghetti sticks and we have to raise in a tower, and then at the end we have to put a marshmallow. Now the beauty of this particular game, and this particular game has been tested and done in lot many top four companies, which has really broken the stereotype of how we look at problems in a very raw sense. Even and the and the beautiful part of this particular game is that and when you talked about the kids, when we become kids, when we are playing,
Yeah.
we really break down and we really melt our egos,
Tell
and we
them,
really
yes.
melt our roles, and then we look at a problem in a very distinct and a very profound way than what we look at in terms of titles. And the marshmallow tower was something that was successfully done by a lot of kindergarten garden student and
Yes.
mbas and finance and
Than
ceos.
MDs.
And yeah, that really sparked me, because I think gamification of communication, gamification of having a mental safe environment where you really dissolve your title and come to the problem as a fresh minded person. Okay, where making mistake is safe, where learning
Yes.
is safe, where I feel like if you make mistake and if you have been told that you are making mistake,
It's
then it
easy
takes a
to take
different story
feedback.
altogether. Yeah. So
No, taking
what I
feedback
feel like,
also
yes.
is very easy in
Hmm.
a game based environment.
Gamification, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
So that
because
has
in
really
general, when
talked
you give
about
a
a lot. Hmm. Hmm.
so in general, whenever we give a
Hmm.
feedback,
Yeah, yeah,
so
go
it
ahead.
becomes very difficult. But in a game related environment, when we
Hmm.
give a feedback, it is just
True.
taken easily. And say similarly, we have a broken square game,
True.
where
True. So
they
I think,
the squares broken
uh,
square game. So the
hmm.
squares will be given, and the first round is you should not communicate. So they will be like like
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
eyes and body, all the movements they'll make to
Hmm.
bring. And then the way a person thinks. that also differs. So
Hmm.
once there was a design engineer where the manager saw that, oh, you have a different strategy, come and talk to me during office. So it gave a different perspective about that person also.
True. Very true. Great, great. I think Shantamina, that was a really good wrap of what we are trying to cover in your section when we are talking about how calm, assertiveness, and communication strength plays a very important role in expressing our emotions which have been suppressed. So that was two sections that we have covered, and I would give you next 1 minute to wrap up whatever would be a kind of a 30 seconds of fame that what you want to give a message to our listeners, and then we
Yes.
can take any questions who want to take ahead. So starting with you, Edwin, what is your 30 seconds of advice
No,
that can pack up
before we go
whatever
to
we
the
have covered?
30 seconds wrap up, I just want to add that
Hmm.
I think Shantamina has brought in a
Yeah,
lot of
go ahead.
perspectives across. I think we as HR professions
Hmm.
would have learned a simple concept called as parent adult child model from transaction analysis. Dr. Eric
Hmm.
has given this
True.
in 1950s,
Hmm.
and I think Abhijit will empathize and will vote with me. We both always
Yeah.
I usually will always take it back to the basics because there are three ego states:
Hmm.
parent, adult, and child. And I
Hmm.
think
Right.
that
Child.
sums up the communication model and approach, because parent would
Hmm.
be like typical parent, adults, teachers, and
Hmm.
society. So
Hmm.
those are like
Hmm.
the authoritative figures, and you have
Hmm.
two types of parents in that. One is a nurturing parent, where the person would be supportive, protective, and encouraging. So it's like you will be okay, I'm here for you. That's a leadership kind of a trait. And then there's a critical parent who is like judgmental, rule driven, and controlling. So that's like that's not how it should be done. So it's like a manager looking at that thought process. Then uh, when this pattern of ego style is used, it will lead to either over utility, will lead to like rigidity and suppression in any relationship. And when we are at an adult ego state, we are rational and present. So it's more data logic and analysis done without any emotional bias or something. So in adult state, we are looking at like so we are looking at like the adult state is high stake environments which responds and
Okay.
no reacts. And then emotionally intelligent
And
leadership would be available.
hmm.
And when we have a child, we have two types of child. I think a
Hmm.
free child, which is spontaneous, which Santa Meena was reflecting with the gamification part. So spontaneous free child is creative and joyful. Adaptive child is obedient, fearful, anxious, and overly pleasing. So in this, we can take example is like free child will bring in a lot of innovations and authenticity, while an adaptive child, like how we have been brought up, we will have a lot of holdback because of fear,
Holdbacks.
especially because we are brought in a system, a rigid system. And then I think real life example I can give is manager. If he is a critical parent, he will say you have missed your deadlines, and then this is unacceptable. And if the employee comes from an adapted child kind of an ego state, he will be like always be like, I'm sorry, I messed up, I'll try harder, I'll get it done. So he's always turmoiled with those situations. So better way to look at it is both the manager and employee looking at a situation at ego state of adult, where the adult manager will be communicating like, I noticed the deadline is missed, what factors contributed to it, look at a solutioning to what would have brought in that. And employee will be like, yes, I'll take the responsibility, here's what I need to improve. So the shift has to happen.
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
that's my take. I think I'll not summarize, I'll leave Santami facilitate that. Good to go, Abhijit ji. I think Shantamina will have more time to facilitate the summary.
I think it's he's stuck, or I think he's having problem, right, in Edwin?
Yes, I
Okay,
think.
so I will just start on with my summary. Um, so there are two things that you can do, which I wanted to tell. Uh, that is called as the say it better exercise and pause. So say it better exercises. So once you have been in a situation and you feel that whatever you have done is not up to the mark, then you can just replay it and think and say it. What better you could have made in that situation? What a better conversations you could have made in that situation? So each and every time you make note of it, it is like creating an awareness within yourself. So when you create an awareness, it will be easy for you to make the change. And one thing, as Edwin also told, the thing is pausing. So take a pause. You need not immediately respond. So if you take a pause and then you try to respond, you will know what is the better way to give that
Mm,
response. So the thing is, change is not always easy.
true.
If you've been a passive communicator for years, you
Mm,
have drawn invisible boundaries around yourself. You've been trained to believe that I should avoid the conflicts, I shouldn't trouble people, it's better to stay quiet. But it is not rude when you speak out. Understand
mm,
that first. Create an awareness. So the first time you try to assert yourself or give an answer, please encourage yourself. Give yourself applause or an some kind of a gift to cheer you up. And if you still feel guilty, you can talk
mm,
to a person, a good friend, saying that this is what happened. So
mm,
they will also give a validation to you that whatever you have done is right. So when you
true.
do this 2 3 times, then the next time you will be there on your own. And in case you're on the aggressive end, so you might be used to raising your voices, dominating the conversation. Always, for you, what will happen when you take an assertive thing? Uh, you might feel that everything is going slow because the assertive person has a thing like, okay, as soon as I have dominated, I will get it. So when you go in this way, it will take some time for you to finish the work or anything, but it's okay.
Mm,
So let them also have the time or the day. So these
true.
habits are not your identity. These are
Mm,
just your habits that has been created from our young age, and it is easy for you to change with practice. So
true.
when you start, it will not be easy for others also to
Mm,
accept it. There may be a
mm,
little resistance, there may be a few teasing. What happened to you these days? Why are you like this? Okay, they might try to pull you back, but
mm,
be consistent.
mm,
As Robin Sharma says, change is hard at first, messy in the middle, but it will be gorgeous surely at the end. And when you
true.
hear your own voice and then you have respected your own identity, you will surely
Mm,
feel happy.
wow.
So silence
That
is not always politeness.
true. True. What a great way to sum it up, Santamina. I think that sum up everything. And one of the listener have actually put in a quote that he's talking about. My inspiration comes not only from industry but from the humanity. Let us remember what all scripture teaches. The real power lies not in how loud you are, but how in how aligned you are with truth, with presence, and with compassion. I
Yes.
think this is so relevant in the age of AI, and as we are progressing towards AI, and it has been, we have been questioned, like because entire industrial revolution and the IT revolution that we have been into has been in competing with machines, like we being more accurate like machine, more cold like machine, more into an relentless like machine. But somewhere down the line, this particular equation is going to change now, because that is going to make us realize that how much human we are right now, because that would be the currency and that would be the only competency that a human can work with in the age of AI. Because we can't compete with machine, that we have to accept. We have
Yeah.
to accept that the machines are not the ultimate what I can say, the aim or the destination of the human existence. It is more about becoming more human and able to sense all the emotions and express those, and make a kind of a cordial environment for other fellow human beings, wherein the power is not a kind of an harshness. The power is more about taking responsibility of each other and empowering each other. As Edwin said rightly, that we have to empower each other. We can't only have power to ourselves. We can't be only we can't be only what I can say, aggressive about with our powers. We have to be assertive, where we have to give win-win situation for everybody, and that is what the alignment is all about. Okay, and that is what would sustain us in the age of AI, because being more human is the only way of competency that is going to save us, not being like an AI. So that has really sum up everything, and I'm really glad that the kind of input from Edwin and Shanta, Meena was really bang on the topic that we are trying to encapsulate in this particular small a coaching pod that I call it. And a lot of insights would be definitely kind of a picked up, and we can plug into our real life scenarios. We don't have to go to a lot of books and do a lot of introspection. We can do that. We can take that technique and we can start applying it, and that is the main crux of it. So I think most of our listeners would be benefiting from this, and we would be coming from the next episode for that. So till then, take care of your mind, take care of the people who are around, and make an environment which is safe for everybody. So thank you so much, Edwin. Thank you so much, Shantagrin, and thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for participating and interacting. So eh, getting all this interaction to our and making our conversation more enriched. So see you around, and have a good weekend. Tomorrow is a Monday, so don't get bogged up by Monday blue. Make sure that you are keeping your mood high, and see you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.